Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Lesser Known But Awesome Heroes.
And I know, guys, it has been a while, so I thought, hey, I'd catch up with F.W. Waller's Brotherhood of Evil Mutants marathon, and I figured I'd post 3 videos today for you guys just to keep you on your toes, because I'm dealing with a lot of stuff, as I usually do outside of YouTube. So my videos have been quite infrequent, so today I'm going to try to make that up a little bit. So today, guys, keeping my Children of the Atom X-Men edition going, the second mutant that I'm going to be talking about is Samuel Sam Zachary Guthrie, also known as Cannonball. And Cannonball was created by Chris Claremont and Bob McLeod. I think I probably just messed that name entirely up. McLeod. Yeah, McLeod. Okay. And he's been a member of the X-Men, the New Mutants, X-Force, X-Corporation, Extreme X-Men, XSE, the Mutant Liberation Front, the Hellions, the Hellfire Club, the Jean Grey School, and it says here the Avengers, so that might be pertain to the Uncanny Avengers that's in Marvel now. His first appearance was in Marvel Graphic Novels issue 4, called The New Mutants, which was in 1982. Sam's mutant abilities is that he has thermochemical energy field propulsion, meaning that he has the ability to biotically generate thermochemical energy and release it from his skin. In other words, he can basically use explosive concussive force from his body at will. This can be used to thrust his body to be propelled through the air like his namesake at great heights and speeds with considerable maneuverability. He can also control his speed and direction through a sheer act of will. At first, he could only release the energy from his feet, but now he can fire it from almost any part of his body in a wide variety of aspects, meaning that basically he could blast it from his hands almost like a concussive force. It would be kind of like being thunderclapped by the Hulk. The blast field itself, the energy that manifests itself, it becomes an impenetrable and virtually indestructible blast field. He can use this to function as a personal shield, but extend it to encompass others. He can also shape it around another person to imprison them or absorb outside kinetic impact into his own energy supply, and then rechannel it, increasing the bludgeoning force of his blows to create explosive shockwaves on impact. Like I just said. And he has metahuman durability, meaning that due to the energy field that forms over his body, he can actually manipulate the intensity of it. And his power levels have varied over the years, but at his peak, he has been able to actually defeat Gladiator of the Shi'ar and has devastated several city blocks by plummeting into the ground from a high altitude. It has been theorized that Cannonball may be one of the externals, and therefore immortal, though evidence for this is somehow questionable. Other than that, that's all the abilities that Cannonball really has, so let's get into his origins, shall we, guys? Okay, now, Samuel Guthrie was born in Cumberland County, Kentucky. He is the oldest of 11 children to Lucinda and Thomas Guthrie, a coal mine worker. After the death of his father, 16-year-old Sam became the man of the house to his large family, which included former X-Men characters Husk and Icarus. To help support his family, Sam decided to work in his father's occupational field as a coal miner. The dangerous nature of the occupation caught up with him one day when he found himself trapped in a collapsed mine shaft. While trying to rescue his fellow worker, a friend of his father's who had introduced him to the job, he subconsciously activated his mutant ability to propel himself at superhuman speeds and use it to escape the pair to safety. This incident brought Samuel to the attention of Donald Pierce, who hired him as a mercenary for the Hellfire Club. Pierce intended to use him in a plot to attack the X-Men Junior team, the New Mutants. Sam's kind nature brought him to his senses, and he eventually turned against Pierce. Professor X saw the good qualities inside of Sam and cited Pierce's manipulation as a cause for his misdeeds, and he asked him to join the New Mutants, and Cannonball would leave his large farming family in Kentucky to join the team. As a member of the New Mutants, Sam would form close friendships with his fellow teammates Sunspot and Wolfsbane. Though he was initially a slow learner at using his mutant abilities, Sam would eventually have an ongoing rivalry with Danielle Moonstar, also known as Psyche, as the two acted as the team's co-leaders. And he also would supervise other teammates, including Magique, Karma, the late Cypher, and Magma, among many others. And early on in his career with the team, he would actually visit Nova Rama and encounter his future teammate Magma. With the team, they soon met the Hellions, who were the New Mutants' rivals. And it was a team that was structured as the future of the Hellfire Club. They were also an anti-theist of the New Mutants, with Jetstream his supposed equal. And with the New Mutants, Cannonball also encountered the Gladiator, the Shadow King, Loki, the Enchantress, and other major villains. He also would meet a young intergalactic rock star named Lila Cheney, and with whom he eventually would share a romance with. He also would team with Spider-Man and defeat the nefarious Inconsistent Man. I never heard of that villain before. The New Mutants would actually find themselves under the guidance of Magneto at the behest of Professor X. And also Magneto's heavy-handed leadership did not sit well with the team, and Cannonball began to display a measure of independence and rebellion against authority. These traits would grow stronger as he matured. The ancient deity, the Beyonder, encounters the New Mutants, and in his curiosity kills them. They are resurrected by the Beyonder soon after, but this trauma leaves the team deeply shaken. For a time, they go with Emma Frost to her Massachusetts academy to join the Hellions. They eventually recover from the trauma, especially after a fight with the Avengers in which they are forced to rescue Warlock and Magneto. Over time, with the New Mutants, he would develop a brotherly affection for Wolfsbane. He remains oblivious for some time that she harbors deeper feelings for him. They worked with the Power Pack when the later group needed help dealing with a team of minor demons. Sam would lead the group in chasing the Impossible Man around the world, and they would eventually get into a deadly one-upsmanship contest with Warlock. Sam would even meet and fight his older self in an alternate future version of the team travels to his time. This adventure is erased from his mind by the future version of his friend Karma. And he would also eventually meet with Lila again. A jealous admirer of Lila drugs Sam, intending to kill him. The resulting fight leads to the accidental release of the creature Birdbrain, who would join the team for a while. Unfortunately for the team, taking Birdbrain back to his island home ends with the shooting death of Douglas Ramsey by the Anti-Mater, who is Birdbrain's creator. The team also battles Cameron Hodge and the Right, defying Magneto. The team would actually sneak out to another Lila Cheney concert. They are swept up in the kidnapping of Lila and dealings with the powerful entity known as Gazarama. Gosamyr. In preventing this guy's relatives from endangering innocent lives, Lila seemingly dies. Returning to Earth, the team got caught in the events of Inferno. They team with the Exterminators, who would eventually merge into their team. And they would help neutralize the demonic invasion plan by rescuing kidnapped infants high above New York City. One of the new members, Boom Boom, soon became a primary romantic interest. The New Mutants would fight the Hellfire Club on the remains of the X-Mansion, formally rejecting Magneto's leadership Danielle's adventures in Asgard, most of which took place while Sam had been healing, involved her rescuing Brightwind, one of the horses ridden by the Valkyrie. Brightwind chose her as her new rider, granting her Valkyrie powers. This leads to the team being involved with the realm once again. The death goddess Hela managed to overwhelm all the Valkyries, including Danielle. With behind-the-scenes assistance from Doctor Strange, the team heads into Asgard yet again. Sam's feelings for Kendra gets the team in trouble when he sees her being threatened. He rashly lashes out to save her, and all the New Mutants are captured by Hela's forces. The group is split up, but Sam manages to lead himself half safely through the many dangers, later reuniting with his friends, and they would manage to save Odin, who is vulnerable from a murder attempt. And soon after returning to Earth, the team would first encounter Cable. They would then assist Cable in fighting the Mutant Liberation Front. And the Liberation Front, Wolfsbane, Warlock, Richter, and Tabitha are kidnapped on the grounds from the X-Mansion by Genosian forces under the control of Cameron Hodge. Warlock soon perishes, murdered by Hodge in an attempt to get his powers. And Sam joins the X-Men on a rescue mission, and the Genosian government would be toppled. Wolfsbane would stay behind to help the fellow victims of the Genosian regime. Cannonball and other New Mutants would leave the X-Men's supervision and would join forces with the mysterious Cable to go head to head with the hard-edged. The mysterious Cable, to become the hard-edged X-Force. Cable named him second in command and field leader of the team. It was early during this time that Sam was impaled and killed by the Savage Land mutant known as Scarin. Or Sauron, or Scarin, I think it's pronounced actually Scarin. During a clash with the incarnation of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. However, only a few minutes later he had healed and returned to life. Cable revealed that he had chosen Sam to lead the New Mutants initially because he suspected Cannonball to be an external, a particularly rare type of mutant who is virtually immortal. Cable had come to train Sam to fight Apocalypse, another external who, in Cable's future time, had conquered the world. Many other externals, such as Sewell and Gryden also came to believe Sam was one of them. It was around this time that Sam's sister Husk was revealed to have mutant powers. His existence as an external was disrupted by Selene, who once claimed that he was not an external. However, she is not a particularly trustworthy source, and no alternate explanation has been given for his surviving the wounds that were inflicted upon him. His immortality was later brought up as the reason he survived 3 gunshot wounds to the chest. His time in X-Force was not easy, as he was considered out of line by the X-Men, and X-Force were considered outright criminals by S.H.I.E.L.D. This eventually devolved into a fight between a S.H.I.E.L.D. team led by Nick Fury and supported by veteran superhero War Machine. Later, any rivalries were put aside, as Sam was instrumental in helping the other X-Men, particularly Forge and Wolfsbane, defeat the Phalanx. And X-Force would soon reestablish ties with the X-Men. Sam would later officially accept an invitation to join the main X-Men team, and initially Sam would be excited, this having been his dream since he first arrived at Xavier's school. During this time, he was also a supporting character in Wolverine's own comic, and during this time, Sam became unsure of himself and his abilities. He privately expressed doubts about his abilities to Bobby Drake, also known as Iceman, causing the veteran X-Men much discomfort. And here we go. Sam would battle the head of the Shi'ar Elite Guard, Gladiator, to a standstill despite being overpowered, and thus facing the doubts about his abilities, only to be left behind as the rest of the X-Men were taken into space to save the Shi'ar Empire. This led Sam to again question his place on the X-Men, and during his time with the X-Men, he found his relationship with Tabitha strained. He was so strained, she turned to Sam's best friend Sunspot for support. Sam returned to the X-Men for a brief period until he left the team to help his ailing mother. During his time with the X-Men, he also infiltrated the presidential campaign for anti-mutant candidate Graydon Creed, using the alias Samson Guthrie. Despite the rather transparent alias, Sam was able to remain undetected until Creed was assassinated on the eve of the election. Sam was also there when the mutant entity Onslaught erupted from Xavier's mind. The entity, before attacking, and enjoyed several minutes of tearing apart Sam psychologically. Sam would rejoin X-Force, now independent of Cable and operating in San Francisco. Cannonball, eventually became the team leader again after the injuries sustained by Siren. The team eventually found a new mentor by the name of Pete Wisdom, who introduced the team to the world of espionage. During this time, Sam and Tabitha had gotten back together after Wisdom's alleged death. Sam led the team again, attempted to continue Wisdom's crusade. Eventually, Sam and the other members of X-Force have to fake their deaths. After X-Force's dissolution, there we go, or dissolvement, whatever you want to call it, disbandment, Cannonball would join several of his former teammates and former members of X-Force and Generation X. In Paris, the France's branch of Professor X's International Mutant Task Force, X Corporation. His time with X Corporation wasn't a pleasant one. En route to a mission later found to be involved in the Weapon Plus program, his teammate Darkstar poked fun at him for eating a sandwich that would have rather distasteful consequences for anyone who went out without an umbrella in downtown, whatever the town's name is, Beauvais. This moment of levity at Cannonball's expense did not last, as on that same mission, Darkstar died. At the funeral of Darkstar, Xavier gave Cannonball a note with the whereabouts of Lila Cheney. He decided to take time away from the X Corporation as the strain of his life began to get to him. He worked for a time cleaning up damages for the France-England Tunnel, aka the Chunnel, which was partly destroyed in the very same mission that had killed Darkstar. While away, Sam rekindled his romantic relationship with Lila Cheney for a time. Sam couldn't find peace with his life, so he was asked by Storm to join her Extreme X-Men, a group of X-Men operating outside of Professor X's leadership. For a time, he even was paired with his old friend Wolverine during an adventure where they pursued longtime X-Men foe William Stryker. Sam also found himself having a reunion of sorts with former teammates Sunspot and Magma. He and his teammates actually would rejoin the X-Men. Yeah, they would rejoin the Central X-Men after the events of Planet X, and Sam would be injured on that mission and once again decided to break for some peace. He used the time to work on his own farm, which he had bought with his X Corporation paychecks. While on the farm, he found himself teaming again with Cable and reforming X-Force against the threat of the Scorn. Sam and former X-Force teammate Siren went in search of Cable with the mercenary Deadpool, who had tracked the missing man via a unique teleportation bond that the two shared. He would discernibly refer to Sam as Cannonballs. Sam once again would join the more active roster of the X-Men and whose team is co-led by Bishop and Nightcrawler. There we go. For a time, he literally and figuratively watched over the younger, more carefree students of the X-Mansion. He would also function as a member of the XSE. He was already participating in the helping of the 198 and fighting the Shi'ar Death Commandos. He soon would suffer the death of his brother Jay, who was killed by William Stryker. He goes with the X-Men to Central Park, where they fight the Forsaken, who had then captured the X-Men and sent them elsewhere. After escaping, Sam would accompany the X-Men to Africa to help Storm assist mutant refugees.
And later, Cannonball would later serve on Rogue's iteration of the X-Men, and the team was formed as a rapid response unit sent to sudden and emergent threats. The team's unorthodox lineup, which included ex-villains like Mystique and Lady Mastermind, brought Sam closer to fellow veteran member Rogue and Iceman, both of whom he had been trained with previously. After defeating the Children of the Vault, Rogue would announce the departure of her team from the mansion. Sam explained his personal feelings about leaving to Cyclops, saying that he felt he needed to leave the mansion as his former home had become a gravesite for his brother Jay, and the constant reminder became too much. Following the defeat of the villain known as Pandemic, the team would then fight an alien warlord, whose name apparently has been mispronounced in the article that I'm actually reading, or whatnot, or what you want to call it, the notes, keynotes, whatever. But coupled with injuries sustained from fighting Pandemic, Rogue would suffer a huge mental injury fighting, this said alien warlord, and leading the team to rest in her childhood home in Mississippi. During this time, Lady Mastermind and Mystique would betray the X-Men and join the Marauders in attack and retrieval mission to acquire Destiny's diaries. After the surprise blitz, Emma Frost, disabled by a neurotoxin, uploaded everything she picked out of what was at the edges of the Marauders' psi shielding into Sam's brain, taking limited possession over his body, causing him to unwillingly free alongside Iceman from the battle. Aboard the Blackbird, the two are engaged in midair by Sunfire, who cripples the jet, and Cannonball manages to escape and actually battle Sunfire, who reveals that he killed Cable. Cannonball shakes off, explaining, "It wouldn't matter who told me that. I'd still be saying, show me the body." Sam and Iceman, telepathically prompted by Emma Frost, attempted to recover the Destiny diaries, which are hidden in a dilapidated brewery. The Marauders' master, Mr. Sinister, used a reverse engineering version of Xavier's Cerebro to track the pair of X-Men to the brewery. The Marauders would attack Sam and Iceman and overtake them. During the battle, Sinister attempted to psychically erase Sam's mind so that the X-Men would find him as an empty shell. This would serve as a lesson to them and to the Marauders as well. However, Sinister was distracted by Iceman, allowing Sam to activate his power to rocket his way out of the brewery and escape. Iceman was able to escape, but it was revealed that Sam, who crashed through one of the brewery's walls, was seriously injured. It was discovered that his blast field, which protects him from constant concussive impact when he uses his powers, was not working properly. As a result, he received compound fractures in his upper body and his lower legs, a broken collarbone, and other injuries. Sam lies unconscious in the X-Mansion's infirmary, where Dr. Hank McCoy, Beast, attends to his injuries and evaluates his condition. He notes that Sam's brain scan indicates sluggish and non-continuous activity. However, at the end of the issue, Sam is shown conscious, alert, and speaking clearly to Iceman. He quickly recovers and is capable of taking part in the final fight against the Marauders. It has yet been shown if he suffers any lingering mental effects from his ordeal at the hands of Mr. Sinister. After Cyclops disbanded the X-Men, Cannonball goes home and his sister Paige picks him up at the airport. Extremely happy to have him back with the family, Sam is moody and withdrawn following the tragic and traumatic events of the Messiah Complex and the disbanding of the X-Men. As they drive, he asks Paige to stop at a local bar. As soon as he walks in, the local men begin to glare at him, and the bartender asks him not to start anything. Paige knows that Sam came to the bar for a fight, as it's filled with members of the Cabot family, a rival family whose daughter had a Romeo and Juliet-esque romance with Sam's brother Jay. Soon they confront Sam and he pushes them to attack them, which they happily do. Paige refuses to participate and Sam defeats all four men alone, trying to prove something to himself after he was helpless and hospitalized after the X-Men's last big battle. Paige demands to know what's wrong with him and he angrily blasts off into the sky, saying he should never have come home. Sam is soon called by Cyclops, informing him that the X-Men are reforming and establishing themselves now in San Francisco. And Sam agrees to join this new team. He arrives in San Fran just as Magneto is attacking the city with a group of antique Sentinels. Sam manages to plow into Magneto, disabling his artificial magnetism suit and allowing the X-Men the upper hand in the battle. Unfortunately, Magneto would still manage to escape. And after the Messiah Complex, the X-Men were disassembled, including the new X-Men. The newly formed Young X-Men team, faced with the new incarnation of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. An ominous clue as to the identity of the new Brotherhood of Mutants suggests that the new Brotherhood may not be new, and that they are led by the new Lord Imperial of the Hellfire Club. In the first issue of Young X-Men, the last page reveals Sunspot, Magma, Moonstar, and Cannonball as members. The hint alludes to the fact that the new Brotherhood were also once New Mutants. However, this was only a ruse of Donald Pierce, who had disguised himself as Cyclops and gathered the young X-Men for his own means. After receiving an anonymous tip in Colorado about a young mutant endangering a small town, Danny and Shan are sent to investigate and calm the locals. Despite their mission, Magik reappears back at the X-Men's base in San Francisco after teleporting off into the future after the events of X Infernus. Upon her return, she informs Sam and Roberto that Sean and Danny are in trouble and will result in their deaths. When asked what he thinks about the situation, Sam says when it comes to the new mutants, he doesn't need to think about it. He assembles a team consisting of himself, Sunspot, Magma, and Magik to go find them. While searching for them, Sam and Roberto come across a tied-up and unconscious Shan in the back of a bar, while Magik and Magma are tricked into freeing Legion from a box. The personalities in Legion's mind want to kill Danny because she can help Legion get them under control. Legion locates Danny in a jail cell and is about to kill her when Sam stops him. Danny tells Sam to let her out, but Sam refuses, saying she'll be safer in the cell since she doesn't have her powers anymore. Sam and Roberto go off to fight Legion, leaving Danny behind. Unbeknownst to them, one of Legion's personalities has the ability to project himself and is stalling them while he prepares to kill Danny, only to be stopped by Magik and Magma. They free Danny as Legion retreats, and Sam apologizes but gets punched in the face by an angry Danny. When asked where she's going, Danny replies, "To make myself useful." She returns brandishing numerous firearms and tells the others that they're going after Legion. However, Sam tells Danny to go. She isn't a mutant anymore, and to stop pretending she is because one of the most powerful mutants on Earth wants her dead. Danny, upset, gets in a van and drives away, only to turn back around minutes later after Sam and the rest of the new mutants are badly beaten. After Legion is caught, Sam tries to apologize, but Danny limps away, ignoring him. Sam confesses to Cyclops he feels as if he has messed up, but Cyclops congratulates him on keeping everybody alive, and that's what matters. So that's it, guys. I finally managed to get through this entire video. I had to speed it up at the end because this, believe it or not, guys, has taken me almost an hour and a half, almost 2 hours to get this full video done. Yeah. A lot of you guys in some of the comments, whether you're trolls or not, have been complaining about the lackluster quality of the way that I speak and the way that I do these. But keep in mind, guys, this is one of the many reasons why I go on hiatus or I don't post as many videos, to be honest. Because it's not just the stuff outside of YouTube, but I'm going to air a little bit of dirty laundry here, get this out the way really quick before I get on to the other 2 videos. I'm tired of hearing some of y'all complain with how I do these videos. And those of you who want to give, that unwarranted criticism, here's an idea. Make your own damn video and do it your own way. But to those of you who enjoy my videos and you give constructive criticism that, yeah, it may be a little bit hurtful, but you mean well in doing so, keep it up, guys. I do try to improve with these videos with each passing. But I just thought, especially since I've been very frustrated trying to get this video itself done, that kind of like, sparked that little outburst, if you will. But when I do these videos, guys, I try to make them worthwhile. I'm not saying that they're the best, but I'm not going to say that they're the worst either. But anyway, I'm rambling on, and I think I've said my piece about that. So with that being said, guys, let's move on to the other two Children of the Atom editions, and I will see you guys over on the next vid.